Hi, I'm Patrick van der Meer, Visualcoach, and this video is about WinUi 3 applications with an SQLite database constructed with code first using entityframework. Okay, that's a whole lot of stuff, but I'm just gonna use SQLite in the application, and I need a way to construct a database. That's it. All right. So where do we start? Well, we start with a blank app package. It's WinUi 3i. Yeah, the name suits me well. Application 1. It's only a test app. And we need a couple of nuget packages to make this work. I'm going to use entity frameworks, of course, and SQL. That's the package that we need to add. The tools for our framework, and then we'll have the community toolkit MVVM. That is actually something that I'm going to skip over a little bit when we make it code. Oh, actually, no, we're just going to do everything in normal pace. Why not? So these are the packages that are installed by default. We'll leave it like that. So we're going to add the package that we need first for the community toolkit, for the dependency injection. And that's just a way to have code, not to repeat code too much and have all these, how to call it, connected files. You just inject it. You can replace it later. That kind of stuff. So the community toolkit, the way I use it, I also use the Microsoft dependency injection. So it's going to be no, that probably is dependency over here. Dependency extension, that is also something that I need, version 9.0. Good. So now we're going to have all the SQLite stuff. So the first thing that we need is the Microsoft Data SQLite. So let's install that. And then what else do we need? We need the Microsoft Entity Framework SQLite. And then we need the tool set as well. So that's also something that we're gonna install. So tools. There we are. Install. All packages are installed now. Well, give it half a second. Then we can close this. And now we need to think about what to do with the XAML to prepare the dependency injection. So that's over here. So the first line of code is let's pop in a lot of stuff so it goes really quick. It was not really the subject, of course, so I prepared some stuff already. I have a service that I need to set up, and by making it public, I could actually use it in a different way as well. But in this case, we're going to use the IOC capabilities of dependency injection, the Microsoft, one of the packages that we installed, to get easy access to all the things that we put in this service builder. This is commented out because we didn't use it yet. So now we are here and we can say services services is configure services. So now all the code is activated, and this is what we're going to do later. So don't worry, we're going to use that. For now, we're done here, and we can look at what is needed for the rest. So first of all, we need a couple of folders, and we're going to have a view folders, of course, a views folder, and we're going to have a folder that has the view models for all the views, view models. And once we have done, actually, we're gonna have a new item in here in the views, and that because we need a view, right? So that view is simply a user control with the name test view. And that means that we need a view model. Oops, over here, a view model at class test view model. Following the naming convention. Could it be different? Yes, it could, but easy to read for others later. This is going to be a public. It's going to be a partial. And now that partial is there because we are using the MVVM toolkit. So this is going to be an observable. Let's make this a V object. Right, having that, it needs a constructor, empty constructor. We're gonna have some stuff injected in here later. Actually, that's what we need now. So what are we injecting in here? We gonna have the database context file. Some service injected over here. So we need a service that provides stuff for us when we need the database and do stuff with the database. Okay. So what file would it be? That would be in the services, of course. And it would be like, I don't know. We're going to have groups and persons, okay? Yeah. Then this is going to be the group service. I'm only going to have one command in there later on to do something, but that's fine. It's going to be public. All right, just by default, an empty constructor for now. So that means that the group services is ready and we could inject it in here once it was actually in the list of injectable stuff. So we have a group service, yay! We might need to correct the path to this. But now we can inject this group service into the view model. And that means that in this view model, we now can say that we have a group service. Now let's do this in underscore. And that means that the underscore group service is the group service. So when it's injected, we have this now available. And what we want is actually to have a button over here, and we're going to use the observable property here. No, of a relay command. Sorry, a relay command. We're not going to do a relay command. Relay command. And that relay command is going to be a void. Get data, get groups, get groups, and hold on, you're not built yet. Okay, that's nice. Of Copilot has helped me a lot, but things that I don't need now. So if I have a test view model, that also should be injected. If I go to XML, I've got my test view model over here, already prepared. It needs to be resolved. Yes, that's the using that we are adding over here. To get to it here, these two were added in the last part when I resolved some code. They're actually, in this case, these two things. So obviously I need an app database context, or I need a database context to build a database. All right, so let's get to that. So we're gonna have another folder called data, and in data we're gonna have two classes that describe what we need to have in the database. Okay, so let's have one class called person and one class called group, and you already understand where this is going. We're gonna have a group that contains persons, and we're gonna have maybe more groups. So this is going to be a public for now, and this person is also going to be a public. And for now, the basic setup will be, you know what, we're going to use this as a partial. And there's no influence it is just a short way to write code. Observable collection. No observable object. Observable object. So we're going to use the MVVM to write lesser code. So we have an observable property, which is an int, which is an int ID. No capitals over here. No gets and sets, just like this. And the community toolkit MVVM will make more out of this. So this is actually, you know what? I'm gonna make a shortcut. I need to replace the word group, of course, here. Group. So we have groups also with an ID and a name. So there's a group name. Yeah. So in the groups we'll have, Control Z, we'll have also a list of members, persons. But this is not going to be members. This is going to be persons. And this is not going to be a list. This is going to be an I collection. Right. So now we have a group, and a group can have a whole list of persons in there. So the person that needs to be connected to that, they need a foreign key. This is an int group ID, and again no capital at the start over here, just a small, because that's the stuff that we need from the group here. This is the stuff that we need. I don't know what I was talking about. This was the foreign key that we need for the database, so it knows that every group has a person, and that's listed by IDs. Okay, good. Do I make mistakes? I always make mistakes. Oh, that's my personal. That's my superpower. Okay, for now we have two groups, and they describe all this sort of that they have a connection. So we have many persons in one group. That's a many-to-one relation. Could you have a many-to-many relation? Yes, then we prepare this a little bit, and we're going to have a configuration later on as well. So what we know now is a file called, well, actually the file name really doesn't matter what the file name is, but we're going to name it app database context. And they just needed to create the database and to figure out what is in the database. So it's going to be public. And this needs to have two database sets. And these database sets are the person as a groups. This says simply, hey, listen, you'll have this database context, but make sure that we have persons there involved and groups there involved. Okay, so these are actually the category names in the database. Okay, good. If you like, this is not needed, but you need the code, of course, but you don't need to have two databases. What I describe over here is that I use a different database in debug mode, where I'm now when testing, when in the end application I use a different database. So this is going to the database name when we start with the testing the application. And for some reason this is like that simply because we didn't inherit yet from DB context. That's something which is needed over here. I forgot that. Well, I was warned. Thank you Visual Studio. Thank you Microsoft. So that's the one thing that we do. The other thing that we want is when it is created, there's another thing that we want to override. And that's the on model creating. And that says actually, hey, listen, make sure that when you do that, that you actually describe what the relations are from the stuff that we do. Now, this persons, that is not good. So we probably made a typo over here somewhere. Yep, persons. E-collection persons. Sounds very good to me. So let's save this and let's build everything once. Rebuild. Probably some small typo. Parents. Oh yeah, I guess I did something like that. Never mind. It's all good now. So there was a slight hiccup there. So this will simply tell what the relations are. So we have the model builder. If you have the groups, it has many relations with the persons, saying in a group there are more than one person, and then and that person will have then one group. Could you have a many-to-many relation? Yes, you could, but in this case we don't. And then we have over here has foreign key. And then that's for, of course, for the groups. And then when you delete the group, you will also delete all the persons. So in this case, you cannot have one person that is member of more groups. Simple as that. Okay. Knowing that, all you need to know. So we can close all of these files. Then we end up in the app.xml.cs, and then we say, hey, listen, you have this this app context that you can inject. Good. We have it now. We need to resolve it. Yes, we do. So now we need some way of testing this. That's why we have the test view model. All right. We already inject stuff over there. We have the app context. We have the service. Now the service missing something, right? It's a service, great. But for what? Well, let me check my other code that I already wrote. Over here, we're going to inject the database context. So we have one line of code over here that says, hey, we need a variable which can hold the injected context. So now we need the app database context to be injected. Okay, that's going to be happening over here, and that's usually going to be app contact. Now, so over here we have the content set to the app database contact. Yep, done. So now we can actually have a method over here, and okay, well actually it already produces that. But as we are using, no, this can be just like a get groups. So how do you get the groups? Okay, get groups. Let me think about this. Well, to get a group, we actually want to have all groups. So we're gonna do this a little bit different. I'm gonna take all this code over here and replace this. Instead of get groups, we get all groups. So get all groups. That's the task, and we get a list of groups. And the list of groups, return later on. Look in the database for groups and include all the persons of that group and add it to a list. Good, that's this line. And then, as we are not wanted to write too much code in the view model and have like a whole view, list view over there and then describe everything and do a lot of XML, we'll just spit everything out to in the preview, when we are debugging, we spit everything out to the output window over here. So we know that it is actually getting a group and that there is a database with data in it. But of course, this method itself, if this was not there, it would just return a list of groups with the persons, which is actually over here, red. Good. Having that also secured, we now can do more with that. Let's do that with a button in the test view. Okay, so we have the test view over here. The test view yeah. Let me check. Yeah, so it's gonna have this. Okay, in the test view model, we injected this group service. In this group service, we have a relay command in this view model that says get the groups. Let's get all groups. So, and that actually simply goes to the group service and gets all groups. Now this is a task, so this is awaitable. Await. And that means that this becomes to be async. Good. Now it gets all the groups and it's going nowhere. So there should be like a var list is await. And then you can do something with that list. I don't know. List for each blah blah blah. Do something. Now I already took care of that. So we're not going to do that. Normally this would end up in some variable that you can well have an item group for a view, whatever, something like that. Item source, I need to say. We're not going to do that, but I don't want to write that code. So we only have to have in this test view the data context. This data context is IOC gets the test view model. Is the test view model available? Yes, we have it available over here. But I already set it up earlier in this video, so that's all good. And now what we also need is then can close this. We can have this XAML code over here, and we need some button over here. Yeah, yeah, and we need to have that button know that there is the view model. So this view model over here. Okay, let's test that as well. So we need something like a way. We're going to do that over here. XML SNS. The view models are in the folder view models. Okay. So now we can bind the temporary database context. We have a binding there to view model. Would it work like this? View model test view model. Okay, that looks to be okay. Maybe I need a type over here to have it detected properly. Let's get a button. So this button is going to be horizontal in the center, vertical. You know what? In the center. And then it will need a command. It says click me. This is going to be get data. And this is not, of course, a click command. This is going to be the get all groups command. Now you ask yourself, you never made an extra command. You forgot this word. Yeah, this is going to be added by the community toolkit. So don't worry about it. I only need to check that I didn't make any typos. So get all groups. This is the right word that we need. And this needs to be a task, by the way. Task. Just to get the squiggly lines out. Really doesn't matter that much, but. And then over here, this is going to be the Control V get all groups command. Now this all should work. If I didn't make any mistakes, I can just start our package now. No. We didn't make any migrations. So now we need to actually tell. Forget about this, guys. Oops. Wait. I was too quick. I forgot half my code. Right. So we have this, but we need to tell the following. We need to have this database initialized. I'm gonna get a big chunk of code over here, which I'm gonna explain. Because we're not only gonna initialize the database, we're also gonna seed some data. We're all gonna do that in the XML CS. So let's do that here under where we wrote the other code. Yep, here we go. So what is this? We are gonna initialize the database. So we're gonna look if there is a service that we create a scope for that. There's going to be the database context for the app database, and then we're going to do a migration. But we never made any migration. So the whole thing of Entity Framework is that we have migrations. Great. So where do you do that? Well, you open the Package Manager console. And if you don't have that, you just get it from the view and then find it over here. If you can't find it, go to the toolbars or the other windows. And then you have the Package Manager console right there. So have it over here, and then you say, well, let's add the initial migration. Now, before you do that, if you made your application having more projects in it, and the database project is actually not in the main in the main project, the graphical interface project, then make sure you switch over here and pick the other project, and then you go in the Package Manager console and say add minus migration. Can I make this bigger? Yes, I can. Okay, so add migration. And then give it some name. You could say 0. Most people say, okay, let's add this initial migration. Okay, hit enter. And if you did everything well, everything was okay, then this will make the migration. Now this still doesn't migrate for us because we made a command that say, hey, do migration, but we never called that command. So it's just sitting there in the XML CS. So yes, we made it, it's successful, and you see that there's a folder, extra folder over here. You didn't have control over that, it's just being built, migrations. This is the migration itself with all the migration information that you have. So this is actually all the SQL commands that it needs to create the database. And there is a snapshot over here. All good, fine. What does it contain? Nothing. Well, I don't know what it doesn't matter. There's a migration, and this migration needs to be called. And let's make this a little bit smaller again. We did it in XML. We do that over here. We call the migration. But before we do that, we also want to see if there is no database and there is no groups. That says over here. So if there's no groups at all, then please make a group. So let's uncomment all of this and then explain this. So this is seeding initial data. If there's no groups, That's what it says over here with the exclamation mark. If there's no groups, so no any groups, then create a group. And create a group with this name and add a list of persons in there. Good. And you know what? Make another group, add some other persons in there. Using the same name. So let's say that the known name is over here and I add it over here as well. This will create simply an extra person with the name known. So now I have two people with the name known, different IDs, but with known now. So if you want to have the same person connected to more groups, then you have to make different relations. And then this code will also be differing a little bit. For me, I didn't want to do that for this demonstration. It is just here saying add these two groups to the database and then save all these changes. Great. So now I need to do one more thing. I need to configure the server. Wrong copy. The initial database needs to be called somewhere. So when I want to call this, I simply do it after I initialize the component. I'll just call all of this. It creates a database and everything is fine. Could I do it up front over here? Yeah, probably I could. You know what? I didn't try that yet. I'm gonna put it up front here. So now it's going to initialize the database and then it's going to initialize the component. By the time that everything is started up, the database is built and created. And not only that, I want it to show up somewhere. So we took care of that over here. And this is not code that you, my bad, in the group service. This is not code that you would normally have in here. Okay, so forget about that. This is what you would have there. So you have a list and you can use the list to do something in the view. In this case, in my case, the view model. And then show it in the view, of course. I didn't do that, all of that. I didn't want to do that, write that code. So I'm just spitting it out to the output window over here. So let's clear that window for now. We'll clear it later on again. Are we done? No, I think we need to do one more thing. We made a test view. Did we connect the test view to the main view? No. So we're going to take out this. We're going to take all of this out. And we're going to make this a grid. And we want to have the XML as views is views. So now I can call here views and this will show the test view. Great. That's going to be in the middle of the thing, filled out completely. One button, spit out the data to the output window. This should actually all be okay. So let's see what this leads to, and if I didn't make too many mistakes. Long video, half an hour already. Oh, first mistake. I didn't clear out this piece of code because the button doesn't exist anymore, so it cannot be found. Let's go. That's in the code behind file of the main window XAML. So here we go. Probably application open in the other screen. Let's first clear all of this and then get this over here. Yep, there's not much to see, and there will be not much to see. Your focus needs to be here in this open piece, because when I click over this, it will create the database. Actually, it already creates the database. It will spit out the get data. Okay, well, never mind about the typos over here. It will spit out the content of the groups. It will spit out all the groups with the content of all the groups, in this case the persons. So let's do that. Click. Boom. Here we are. Successful. We have an application, WinUi 3, that uses an SQLite database that is created with code first, entity frameworks code first approach. Done. Thanks for watching. You know what? Press that thumbs up button or subscribe, well, if you like. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. I will not have all the answers. I will not always see it right away, but hey, you never know. Maybe I can answer your question. Doesn't mean that I'm making a whole new video of it, okay? I'm making these videos mainly for myself, just to remember stuff later on. But of course, if I can help you, and it's like a small question, I'll be happy to help out.